Welcome to the Josiah Venture English Teaching video training. We have a team of people in our organization who want to empower you to prepare and teach high-quality English classes at camp. Whether you've taught English many times or perhaps this is your first time, please take a look at this video. Be reminded of the various cultural dynamics that will take place in your English class, and also notice the practical tips on how to create high-quality English camp material. There are various short clips, words of wisdom from one of our in-house experts, Amy Ellenwood, as well as information regarding where to order and how to access lesson planning material. We're praying for you. We ask that God will use your teaching to build relationships and connect campers to Him. Enjoy this video.
We're preparing this for you because we know in the past it's been difficult for people who have never been to English camp to have a picture, a visual of what it's really like to teach in an English camp setting. It's a lot different from a classroom. We know that each of you is unique and has your own personality, and you'll bring that to the class, but we wanted you to have some idea of how it should look and what we're looking for so that these students are getting a quality English camp experience. And we need to offer quality instruction so that these parents and students feel like they're getting the most for their money. Many of them save up all year to come to a camp like this, so we want it to be worth their time and their money, and we want their expectations to be fulfilled. Many students in the schools here probably know grammar and English, the ins and outs of it, better than we Americans do. So the goal isn't to teach them necessarily new things, it's more to give them opportunities to repeat and use what they've learned in class. In our English classes, our emphasis is on fluency rather than accuracy. Now let me explain that. Fluency is we want them to speak and to move out of their comfort zones and speak. They will make mistakes, and they need to feel the freedom to make mistakes and to not be held back by fear of making mistakes. So your response is really important. Now you don't want to not correct them if they're making a mistake over and over again. If you see a clear problem and you can identify something that they do wrong often, correcting them is really important. It's important how we do it. I had a friend who constantly stopped me and told me that I said something wrong, and around that Czech friend I stopped using my Czech because I felt very self-conscious and I was always worried about making a mistake. We don't want to create that insecurity. There needs to be an atmosphere of acceptance. So one of the best ways to correct is to simply repeat what they said back to them, but correctly. And as you do that, they'll begin to hear it said properly, and they'll be able to make those changes in their language themselves. Now, most of you will have a translator in your class, but we strongly encourage you not to rely too heavily on the translator. Be creative in finding different ways of explaining words or ideas that they don't understand. Try to use words and actions and pictures, whatever it is that you can do to create that and to bridge that communication gap. In doing this, you will need to simplify your English. Words and slang that you use every day that you don't even think about, all of a sudden are not going to communicate. And so you're going to need to be really sensitive to that and find the words that they understand, find the sentences and the phrases that they can lay hold of, and communicate using simpler English. It's proven that a language learner needs at least 5 repetitions of new information, or they need to use new information at least 5 times. If they get a new vocabulary word, they need to incorporate that into their language at least 5 times before they own it and before it becomes part of their language. And so our goal at English Camp is to be very creative and come up with many different activities and exercises that give them practice. Practice is key. Repetition is key. I promise you, you will not be boring your students by using the same information over and over. The key is finding creative and different ways to use the same information. Because students are accustomed to this kind of a classroom and this kind of teaching, it makes English Camp a lot more fun when our classrooms are fun, when we're changing things up every day. We don't go by the same schedule necessarily. We do different things. We're in different settings. We're outside, we're inside. So be creative and use your creativity and your good ideas to make class an interesting place to be, a place where they want to communicate and they want to participate. One side note, don't be surprised if students don't respond quickly to you. It may take them a couple of days to warm up. I am teaching a class right now that it's taken a whole semester for them to warm up to me. And don't be discouraged by that. Keep hanging in there, and they will warm up, and they'll really begin to love it. But don't let that throw you. One of the things we're asking you to do as you prepare lessons is to keep it centered around a theme. It's important to have a theme because then you work in a certain vein all day and the students walk away with vocabulary, new ideas, new thoughts, but they stay in that track and in that context they can track with it better. One of the keys for a teacher at English Camp is to be flexible. Now, you may have taught at an English camp before, but from camp to camp, the levels of English vary. You may have a camp that the students speak very good English. Up around Prague and around big cities, students often speak better English than the students who come from villages and smaller towns. So you need to be prepared to flex with that. You may get to class and you've prepared for an intermediate level class and your students are far beyond that and need advanced material. Or you may get there and you've prepared for an intermediate class and your students are much less capable of speaking than what you thought. And you're going to have to be able to flex and shift to meet the needs of your class.
This year, we plan to use material from a new group called His English. In the past, we've used Adventures in English manuals like this that I'm showing here. However, this year, we want to introduce something new and fun. It's called His English, Helping Internationals Succeed, and we believe these manuals will bring something fresh and new to English Camp teaching, especially for those of you who've taught at English Camp many times in the past. If you're looking for something different, something creative, you definitely want to check out these books. It's really important that your team invest in these. His English offers many different manuals. However, we recommend levels 1, 2, and 3 teacher guides. These offer beginner, intermediate, and advanced lesson plans. There's plenty of material in here. You shouldn't run out of things to teach during your English Camp week. And if for those of you who have large teams or many of your students have never taught English before, we recommend that you purchase more than one set. In the past, you went through the Josiah Venture office in order to order materials. However, this year, we're sending you directly to the source. It's www.hisenglish.com. And when you get to the ordering page, you'll look for the levels 1, 2, and 3 teacher guides. Also through Josiah Venture, we'd like to offer online lesson plans. These were prepared by a small group of missionaries, and they're also very helpful. You can access these already made plans in the same place where you access this video that you're watching right now. And although it's great for your teachers to have the manuals and to have online plans, we really ask that they take the time to make these plans their own. It's really important that they feel comfortable teaching the material and that they feel excited. These are the games they want to play, these are the vocabulary words they want to teach, etc. And lastly, I'd like to mention something about the beginner classes. Teaching beginners is often considered the hardest level to teach. Therefore, we've included video footage taken from a very low beginner class at English Camp a few years ago. As you're watching it, take notice how the most basic ideas are communicated. Notice the frequent use of repetition and the creative ways that repetition is included in the different days. Now enjoy compiling your lesson plans. Take them seriously. Don't forget to go online and order the manuals at this site, and also access other lesson plans that Josiah Venture has made available. These are really great resources, and I think they'll be very helpful to you. Thank you.